And probably the deck is just a worse version of Tireless Tribe, but I could see it actually shining in this metagame and having some unique advantages that Tireless Tribe doesn't have, because Serrated Arrows is currently being played in almost every controlling deck, especially the big mana decks. Tron and like Boros plays a lot of them. Even some Delver decks I've seen pick them up, like in Blue-Red Delver playing one copy of Serrated Arrows. So it becomes very difficult to win with Tireless Tribe, and you basically have to transform into an alternative game plan every match. And then this deck has a little bit more threat density in general to fight through removal. And also we have 8 threats that survive a Serrated Arrows. Kiln Fiend and Nivik Cyclops with a -1/-1 counter on it are still very threatening. So that gives us a little bit more pressure that we can dodge that card post sideboard. Though we do open ourselves up to like protection from red type cards. Circle of Protection red is a lot worse for us. Prismatic Strands can potentially bail us out because we don't have as many ways of fighting instants as Tribe does. But yeah, the hand that I have here looks very, very promising. Already have 3 of my threats. Can start putting my opponent to the test with threats starting from turn 2. And the Ponders can offer me some selection if that is not a game plan that is good enough. It's a little bit awkward that my blue source is a Swiftwater Cliffs though, so I can't daze anything if I tap out here. I would need to find an island first. Well, that is exactly the island that I was looking for. They cast Lightning Bolt and Needle Drop, both on their turn to play around a potential spell status sprite or counter spell from me. That makes some sense. So, though I would expect my burn opponent to have multiple ways of killing my creatures, so it's interesting whether I want to lead on the higher payoff creature or like bait out a remove spell from my opponent. Because most likely my plan is play a creature here that gets killed, then play my Nivik Cyclops, which is much more difficult for my opponent to kill with 4 toughness, and then try to win with this. So I think I want my opponent to spend resources on my first creature and then not protect it. So I will run out the more threatening creature here, even though I'm also giving up on my bigger threat. It does force my opponent into kind of an awkward position. Yeah, I mean, this is good for them, killing my creature and also dealing damage to me, but that was to be expected. Rift Bolt suspended. Okay, so they can 2-for-1 themselves to get the Nivik Cyclops off of the board. But yeah, that's probably alright with me. I can run out Spellweaver as another threat and then Ponder into just another threat if they deal with that as well. So it's very likely my opponent gives up on the kill my creatures plan and just try to burn out my face. And at 11 life it is possible that I get killed, but I should probably still get another turn to live. Especially because my opponent has neither played a creature nor a Curse of the Piercing Heart yet, so those slower cards that have lower impact on the game should be rotting in their hand at some point. Okay, another Rift Bolt, that is scary. And another Rift Bolt. Okay, so my opponent is definitely threatening to kill me next turn. And if I try to kill them, there's a chance they can Fire Blast down this Nivik Cyclops. But that still seems to be the plan here. Look for a Temur Battle Rage, and then I should be able to win. Or at least force them to give up on 2 of their lands and their Fire Blast. Then they can only put me to 5, and I could stabilize from there if they're on 1 land. I think I don't want to probe yet, even though it gives me more information both about my opponent's hand and about my hand if I cash this in first, but I think trying to ponder first, and then if I have information about the contents of the ponder, I can decide whether paying life is something I can afford to do or not. That seems like a better way to sequence things. I'll shuffle this. Really just looking for Team or Better Rage. I think I'll just ponder again and keep holding onto this probe so I don't force myself to a life total where Fire Blast just kills me. These are also not great. I'm like a little bit short, right? Yeah, it's unusual to play players who are good, and I was like, this has to be someone that's like competent. So I wanted to find out, but he didn't answer. I punted game 1 though, I should have won the match. Though he wrecked me pretty hard in game 3 and I couldn't really do anything about it. That was the sealed pull that I showed on Twitter, and I only went 3-2, though I deserved both of my losses, so I guess that just means I'm horrible. Feels bad, man. Yeah, okay. Can you tell me who it is? I definitely figured it's someone good, because he made some unusual, or like, unintuitive but strong plays. Okay. No, but I made like a completely shouldn't say that word. Completely terrible play game 1. Like I Chupacabra something that I shouldn't have Chupacabra, and then I lose to a Colossal Dreadmaw. It was just completely terrible. It was just like, hey, this Chupacabra on curve is nice, right? But I killed like a random 4/4 that I could have just like double blocked down or something. It was just like the typical unconcentrated and impatient play that you want to avoid. And then he had like, I had Tinder should try to double block it a bunch of times, but each time he had like Pump Spell, Bounce Spell, everything, so I never got the Colossal Dreadmaw off of the board. And if I had just held Chupacabra for it, I couldn't ever lose. No, I did overblock, but he had Bounce Spell plus Pump Spell a bunch of times. I did overblock multiple times. Except in the one spot where I couldn't afford it anymore, but yeah, I overblocked multiple times. He's not giving me as much credit as I deserve. Also, I played around his Swift Warden in game 1, and he had 2 in his deck. Yeah, but like River Herald Spoon was just very difficult for me to beat with the draw I had, and he had double Swift Warden, River Herald Spoon like each game. Okay, so let me try to figure this out though. I can. So this is 7 power. So I need 4 more spells. No, 4 more spells is still 1 short. I need 5 more spells if I don't find Better Rage. Because 4 more spells makes it 19. That's not good enough. Because 4 more spells is also something I could do. I could probe, cast a Preordain, and then daze my own Preordain. But I think I want to shuffle, because that ends up being 1 damage short, and then I'm just getting myself into burn range for no real reason. Damn. Did end up short here, not finding the Better Rage. Now if I do find Better Rage or Gush, I could just win. Or I put my opponent to the test on having lethal, but I'm at virtual 5 life. The downside is casting this puts it so that I die to a single 3 damage burn spell. If I don't cast it, my opponent needs 2. Pretty close. I think I just attack for 7 and set up lethal for next turn. It's like slightly better maybe. Or you are mad, okay. Yeah, his pool looked very good. And his play was also decent, so good luck to him for tomorrow, for sure. So pretty likely I'm dead here, but I think I give myself a better chance than hoping for like the 4 outer of Teemo Better Rage off of Gitaxian Probe. It was a huge favorite with Double Ponder, but not much I can do. Yeah, looks like I'm dead. My opponent can even play around Daze here, both with Fire Blast and with another 3 damage burn spell. Yeah, I mean that would have stopped my kill anyways, but I wanted to bait my opponent into casting it on my creature, or force my opponent into it, not bait. No reason to show them that I have Daze in my deck. Okay, draw the card just to be results oriented. Okay, would not have gotten there. So burn, these Hydroblasts seem good, these Dispels also seem good. And I don't think I need any like alternative plan. I'm not even certain if Dive Down is good enough for me, because it does protect my creatures, but it's like low impact when my opponent's trying to go face. These Vapor Snacks don't seem that great, though letting my opponent keep their creatures is also pretty risky. I have to draw my Hydroblast to kill their creatures when they have a creature heavy draw. But Vapor Snag is not even that good against Firebrand Archer, and if I word in like an Electricity, it's pretty bad against Thermo Alchemist. And Mutagenic Growth is pretty awkward because it's one of my best cards early on, protecting like my Killing Fiend from a Lightning Bolt, but then later on it becomes one of my worst cards because I don't want to pay life for it. Standard cards. Am I? Oh yeah, this is a standard card. That's also true. Every card is a standard card at some point. Yeah, I'm playing Spellweaver Eternal, though I could see it just being better as a Jeskai Sage. I want to try out Jeskai Sage because that's even better against removal and against edicts. Back to number 1. Feels good, man. Blitz Leader 1. You even get a badge for the cheer. Oh yeah, that's true. Many of my legacy decks also have cards that have never been in standard. That's definitely true. Okay, so I think I've cut like probably the Dazes. Maybe I even cut Spellweaver Eternals because I'm just looking for like raw power and just combo with the cards that are like most impactful. Then maybe have like maybe this is too slow. Just try to keep one of my main payoff creatures alive and kill them in a single turn. Spellweaver Eternal, like slow beatdown, doesn't really seem to solve any of my problems. Yeah, True Name Nemesis, Baleful Strix, Leovold, Palace Sentinels, Palace Jailer. There's a bunch of cards that have never been in standard that would just be way too good and way too sweet. Also true, Dance Game. True Name Nemesis in Legacy. Yeah, and they already admitted that True Name Nemesis was likely just a mistake as well. Even for Legacy. I mean, it's fine in Legacy from a power level perspective, but the gameplay is just so horrible. It's like barely not good enough, though it has all the pieces that I want, like Gush, Battle Rage, Nivik Cyclops is... But with such a low land count and no cantrips, this is bad. If this was like a Ponder or something, I would be incredibly happy with this hand. Even on the draw, I would consider this hand. I think on the play I have to, yeah, try for something else. This is already pretty similar, though I do need to find my Battle Rage again for this to work out for me. I don't think I want to back up Nivik Cyclops, though bottoming the backup Nivik Cyclops makes me vulnerable to Pyroblast, because that's their best way to deal with this. guess I want both. Maybe not. Then I don't get my preordained information for free. I would have to cycle through this. Yeah, probably I don't actually want both. Like, it's kind of free for me to put the Metamorphose into the graveyard, but I want it still in my deck later on. And also I get information for my preordain. I can like preordain into a tapped land, and then that is not something that I can do if I Metamorphose first. I guess I regret my decision, because now I want to Metamorphose into double blue. That's awkward. And then if I do Metamorphose with this, then I would want the second one in my hand as well. Okay, that's the perfect punishment for Metamorphosing into double blue. Now I would prefer to have red. I really need a third land. The Metamorphose once again is like okay. The Dispel is also good if I do find the extra land, because then I can protect my Kiln Fiend with Dispel. But yeah, I need Battle Rage and I need a land, so I think I'll just bottom and look for those two cards. And then worry about all the other things later. Wow, that is exactly what I was looking for. That's basically the best 3 cards that I could have gotten out of a single Wonder. Yeah, they're Phyrexian Mana. I read Phyrexian Arena, I was like, what's your hatred for Phyrexian Arena? But no, Phyrexian Mana was... No, I think they said that they're fine with Phyrexian Mana on permanence. I think Phyrexian Mana on permanence was actually pretty nice. Just Phyrexian Mana spells are pretty ridiculous. Like Phyrexian Metamorph is a nice card. Like a Sculpting Steel / Clone hybrid. I think that's fine that it exists. But like, yeah, like all the 0 mana Phyrexian Mana spells just shouldn't exist. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to not make any artifacts. Sure, artifact lands helped a lot. Okay, so they cast 6 damage on it. I can't save it with the Mutagenic Growth, but my opponent's on 1 land, and now I get to protect my Kiln Fiend from a single bolt. So that seems pretty nice. Hold on to this Gitaxian Probe so that I have the 3 spells that I need to get my Kiln Fiend to 10 power. Assuming I have to cast Mutagenic Growth on my opponent's turn against a Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt. Or even Searing Blaze if they find their land. They may have even held their land for Searing Blaze. No, they likely would have. No, they definitely would have done that on my Nivik Cyclops. Yeah, the color pie breaking of Phyrexian Mana is definitely a huge problem. Like Dismember in green decks and blue decks is just kind of a joke that exists. Okay, we killed our opponent. Yeah, I wanted to try it out. Okay, so nothing really unusual here. They used to have all their creatures in the deck and the curse. The curse seems pretty sketchy to me, because the matchup isn't really about them slowly burning me down. They kind of just have to stop me from comboing and then out-control me. It seems much better to board out all the curses, I think, and then have like a Martyr of Ashes or something in that spot from my opponent's perspective. But would have even had multiple ways of protecting against Fire Blast here. Nice. Yeah, definitely Modern without Tron would also be completely different. Just like 8th edition is not that great for Modern. So I think I kind of liked how I sideboarded. Still not sure if I need like the one Electric and hope to line that up with my opponent's Firebrand Archer, or just let them cast Firebrand Archer and hope that my draw's faster. Yeah, I think that's alright. Everyone would play mid-range. I don't think that's true. You could definitely make the combo stuff stronger so that mid-range isn't the only thing that works, but sure, it is a lot harder to keep mid-range in check when there's no big mana. Okay, this could be anything. It could be great hand, it could not be. This kind of the funny thing about Mana Morphos, that you only get to see how good your hand is later on. Though my opponent opening on not doing anything is a little bit promising. Though that makes it very likely that they have a creature on turn 2, and those are their most threatening goldfish draws, when we don't have a lot of ways of interacting with their creatures. Yeah, this is not that great for me. So I guess I float blue-red first, both because I can cycle through the second Mana Morphos, and because it allows me to draw Kiln Fiend, and this time I go blue-blue and get their creature off of the board, which only backfires when I draw Kiln Fiend out of the Mana Morphos. So I can take the land and the ponder, then I have like a lot of pondering to do to find my next creature, but I'm giving my opponent like a full turn. But I guess I do need the third land at some point. I do already have all the combo pieces that I need. I would prefer for my third land to be an island, so it enables Gush instead of this tapped land. But the tapped land also gains me some life. Yeah, that seems alright to just spend my next turn on Ponder Brainstorm. Ponder Preordain, I mean. And then in 2 turns I play my creature, and in 3 turns I kill my opponent. Yeah, it would definitely be better for me to have a creature on the board already. None of these seem appealing. I could use the Evolving Wilds, I guess. If I had bottomed this, then Evolving Wilds would have been perfect for me to ponder and then take one of the ponder cards, shuffle the other ones away, get my second island. That would have worked out. But yeah, now that I do have this in hand already, I think I just want, yeah, exactly these cards. This is basically the perfect ponder once again. Wait, I stacked it. Not great though. I think I wanted to play the island next turn. I don't know, I do have Kiln Fiend with Dispel back out, that's all that really matters, and then I have an easy kill from there. Okay, and I think I should be able to raise this. Unless my opponent has a third land right away and starts shooting me down. Okay. So I have 3 ways of protecting my Kiln Fiend, and next turn I can even Gush before the Temur Battle Rage. Should be pretty easy to get there from here. I don't know, I mean Brainstorm is way too good for Legacy, but it's also the identity of Legacy. People only play Legacy because they're allowed to play 4 Brainstorms, so it's kind of a useless argument to say Legacy without Brainstorm, because like without Brainstorm the format just doesn't exist. Yeah, Pauper has no good fetch lands though. Brainstorm and Pauper is a lot worse. Like Preordain and Ponder are already better cards in the format without good fetch lands. Needle drop, okay, that does not interact with me. That is fine. And they don't have enough lands for a double fire blast, so I think I should be fine here. And I have so many spells that I can even get through 6 toughness worth of creatures, I think. I guess Fire Blast on my Kiln Fiend might be awkward if I don't find another Dive Down or Dispel. It's possible I should have just cast Mutagenic Growth and held the Dispel, because then I have Dispel from my opponent's Fire Blast. I wanted these in hand so I have maximum amount of damage on my combo turn, but now I think it's actually incorrect. Yeah, now my opponent can just blow me out with Fire Blast. That's pretty awful. If I had help Dispel, everything was perfect. Because I don't threaten lethal yet. They can put one of their Thermal Alchemists in front. Oh, this is so bad. I think it met every requirement for a ban. It's just that, I mean, the biggest requirement for a ban is that people would have more fun without the card than they do with the card. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I could have still done like second growth, but then I also end up not having lethal. So I guess that's fine. Okay, I'll just put him to the test whether he responds to this. If he responds, I'm pretty screwed. If he lets this resolve, I can cast the second Battle Rage and then keep this in hand for protection. He probably doesn't want to Fire Blast when I still have blue mana floating, so I might be able to trick my opponent here. I still don't have a kill then, right? But I get both of the... Oh no, I do. With this resolves, I do have a kill. No, Jace is not getting bent in Modern. Not a chance. There's a higher chance of Jace getting bent in Legacy than it is in Modern, I think. And even that is obviously not going to happen. I hope for Deathrite Shaman, but... Okay, so we have 30 damage, they have 6 points of block, so now my opponent has to Fire Blast and I have a response. If they do have Fire Blast in hand, they punted this game, I think. I mean, responding to my Mutagenic Growth when I still have blue mana floating is also not optimal, so it's uncertain whether they punted or not, but I definitely got there.